Hi everyone, this is Shannon here. Thank you so much for joining me. In today's video, we're going to create some really colorful ombre and rainbow cards using the brand new Rainbow Thank You die set. This is Waffle Flower's new Rainbow Thank You die set. I love this die set. It's so cool. I really love the clean kind of graphic look of this set. Great for kind of clean and simple cards. As you can see here, that main die cuts several rings that radiate from the sentiment. Great for different colors for creating that kind of rainbow look. And you also get these additional dies with that main die, and you can really kind of get some different looks, kind of remove the rings if you don't want them. Really kind of get a variety with this die set. So I made a bunch of cards with this die set. I was having so much fun, but today I'm going to show you the ombre card that I made, mainly the orange one. I have 6 layers, or you need 6 layers of cardstock for all the rings. That includes the letters themselves and this main die. I'm going to cut the main die out of some white cardstock, and that white cardstock is actually going to be the cardstock for my letters. So my letters will be white. Now I have 4 remaining cardstocks, and I know I'm supposed to have 5 remaining. I'm going to actually use one twice, and I'll show you a tip for kind of getting a different color. But I went ahead and cut the remaining color cardstocks with that main die as well, and now I have them all here on my work surface. So there are about 6 or 7 little pieces that of the 5th and 4th layer you're going to want to keep. And I have a few of them set aside there on the right, kind of tucked in the little wells of my water media mat. You definitely want to keep those and not lose them, or you have to die cut them again. So here's my little trick to get this second layer for my rings a different color. Because even though it's the same cardstock as the first layer, this second ring I'm just going to ink blend a little bit of dye ink over it, and that's going to change the color. So if you're having a hard time going through your scraps, because I highly recommend you using scraps for this project because you don't need a lot of colored cardstock to do it, but you're having a hard time getting, finding 4 or 5 different colored cardstocks, you may want to try ink blending on a couple just to change the color a little bit so you get that difference between each ring. So I went ahead and die cut a backing out of white cardstock as well as some dimension out of white craft foam with the kind of largest plain die in the Rainbow Thank You die set. This die fits perfectly behind, or the die cuts fit perfectly behind that main die in the set. So I went ahead and added adhesive or tape runner all over the top of that cardstock backing, and now I'm just going to carefully place inlay die cut basically these layers or rings of my sentiment. So I started with the first layer, then the second layer, which is the one we did a little ink blending on, and now I'm on my third and 2 more to go. So these last 2 layers, these are the ones that have the little tiny pieces that you are going to need later. So you want to be careful with the 4th and 5th rings, making sure to keep all those little tiny negative pieces. So I popped in the 4th and 5th, and then the last layer is my sentiment itself. So these are the white letters, and they just go right in the opening. Of course, you could do rainbow. I did ombre just to do something a little bit different, but you could definitely do rainbow colors too, which I do have an example at the end of this video to share with you where I did rainbow colors. So I just finished popping in all my letters. Now it's time to pop in those little negative pieces. So the darkest layer is the one I'm going to put first, and I put those behind, kind of in the center of any of the letters. And then the remaining openings are the ones that I put the 4th layer, which is the orange that's slightly lighter than the darkest shade, and kind of popped those into place. And once I get those last couple pieces in, this sentiment is all done. I really love the kind of retro look of this. When I saw this die set, I knew exactly the colors I was going to use. I knew I was going to do some kind of something a little bit retro. So now that I've got my sentiment all done, I'm going to adhere it onto my craft foam layer. So I have some liquid adhesive. I'm just going to stick it right down onto that craft foam layer and then set that aside to dry. On the right here, I have 5 strips of colored cardstock, the same colored cardstock that I used to create my sentiment. I even ink blended on the second one to get that same look as the ink blended one in the sentiment. And these strips are a little bit bigger than a 1/2 inch. They are actually 9/16. And the length doesn't matter so much, but for the lightest color or lightest cardstock you need, it to be a little bit longer, and then from there it can get shorter and shorter. So I just kind of arranged them onto my card front and then used a piece of micro pour tape to kind of hold them in place, and then flipped it over, then added some tape onto the back side with my tape runner, and then just stuck them down. Now I'm going to carefully remove that micro pour tape. Tip here, you definitely want to remove some of the stick on that micro pour tape. It can peel off some colored cardstocks. I found it does that a little bit more with colored cardstocks than it does white cardstock. I'm now going to just glue my sentiment right down, covering up the tail ends of those radiating stripes, and then, or I guess not radiating, but those stacked up stripes. And then I will grab my scissors here and just trim off all that excess, and that will actually complete the card. So I love, love, love playing with color, and colored cardstocks makes it really easy to kind of play around with different combinations, which is probably why I ended up making 2 more ombre ones. And also this card was a pretty simple card to create. But let's hold up the orange one here before we look at the other ones. Again, I love the colors. I really love the retro vibe, and it's so easy to add that kind of stacking of stripes on the side that really, I think, completes the card. So here's a green one that I created, also with green colored cardstocks, and even for this one I did do a little ink blending to get a 5th color. And here's my third ombre one, which is blues, and I love it too. Just so fun. And of course, here's a rainbow one. Picked some really bold rainbow colors here. Really wanted to stick with that kind of retro vibe, and I love that rainbow one as well. And I think it's important to note that I made all of these cards with my colored cardstock scraps. So I love it when I can use up some of my scraps that I've been hoarding, and I just think they turned out so great. I hope you guys enjoyed today's cards and video. Thank you so much for watching. If you want any more information on the products I use, please check out the links below in the description. You can also check out my blog or my Instagram. I'll share those links as well. And if you like this video, I would so love for you to subscribe to my channel. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.